Hi, so my YouTube name is Ian's Field of Greens 2021, but for a living I'm a landscape gardener and gardener, and I'm at my customer's garden this morning, and she had a huge row of conifer trees, Leylandi trees, as a hedge all the way around her garden. And last September I took, last September I took down the first row of trees. I took it down earlier than that, perhaps August, and I replaced it with a row of new plants which I planted out. The conifers that I took out are Leylandi, as I say, and with Leylandi they have a sort of shelf life, a life of about 25-30 years as a hedge, because they're normally trees, and people tend to cut them back too hard, and when they cut them back too hard they die, and you can see down through there that they've died back, and they won't regrow. You'll get little bits, but they won't really regrow, and so they need taking out and replacing as a decent hedge, and then your decent hedge will grow on from there. So I'm just taking you along to show you that I've taken out a rubbish Leylandi hedge and I've replaced it with a nice hedge. So in September of last year I replaced the first hedge. So I dug it all out, ripped out all the hedge. You can still see some stumps, but when the plants grow through, they'll cover the stumps, so you won't see them. Now I've had to replace some things because when I put them in the summertime, even though I've been doing my job for 28 years, foolishly I put in things like Weigelias, which aren't evergreen. So there's three Weigelias, and there's a couple of plants that died. I think there's 3 or 4 Weigelias, different colours. I'm going to be moving them somewhere else. And then the other plants that died, there's one there, they were this one, and they were different colours. One of them's lost nearly all its leaves, and the other 3 died completely, so I'm replacing them. But yes, I'm replacing them with certain plants, as you can see, or the Weigelias. So this is the hedge that I did in September last year, and it's all different plants. Unfortunately, like I say, I planted some Weigelias which aren't evergreen, so I'm going to replace them with other things that I've got from the nursery. And now I'm planting, I've got my fish blood and bone there, so in each hole put a bit of fish blood and bone around the hole and in the bottom of the hole, and it encourages root growth. So if you're planting any plants, it's a good thing to do is to plant them with fish blood and bone or something to encourage the root growth, because it's the roots that you want to get to grow. The roots control the growth of the plant. And then on this side it's a mixture of all different things. Now I plant a lot of shrubs, and the shrubs will grow into huge bushes. They just take a bit of time to do so. So there's all different things here. There's a lot of them are scented, a lot of them flower, a lot of them are scented, and the other ones that aren't scented have like variegated leaves or different shaped leaves. And like I say, if you plant different things, it's just nice to have a hedge that's made up of different plants. You can use shrubs from the garden, and there's so much choice of shrubs that will grow up to 6 foot and over. Some of them will grow into trees, but if you trim them back properly, then they don't need to grow into a tree. So we've got things like, we've got bottle brush, and we've got ceanothus. The ceanothus is a nitrogen fixing plant, so it absorbs nitrates out of the air, and then the nitrates get fed into the ground through nodules in the roots, which feeds the nitrates into the ground. So it saves you feeding the plants. I mean, we'll probably feed the plants as well, but it saves you feeding them. So there's different things: ceanothus, escallonias, they're all flowering sort of thing. You've got things like the red robin. The red robin has a flower on it, but it's a very insignificant little flower. You've got skimmias and things like that. You've got spotted laurel, which is the light one, skimmias. They have a berry and a flower. This is more just a foliage plant. There's berberis, but it's a yellow one. I think there's an orange one in this garden already. There's more escallonia. There's strawberry trees. Well, they grow as a shrub, as a bush, when they're small, and then when they get bigger they just look really beautiful. There's a couple of Pyrrhus in here of slightly different colours. One's more red than the other, and one's silver. Again, they'll get to 12 to 15 foot when they're fully grown. People just don't get it that don't realise that they do that. There's these ones that have a pinky flower on. I've put two that are a bit too close together, so I'll be moving them. The customer already had some plants, so she had this plant that's got lovely little pink flowers, and because it's tall, we're going to put it in because it'll break up the windows and that, so that she doesn't have people peering in her windows, although she has blinds. Then we've got these other trees as well, which are like a fake olive tree sort of thing, and again, it's because they're tall and the customer wants things that will already be tall to plant in, and it goes all the way up into the corner. Now I've gone for all different various plants, all different sorts, a lot of escalonias with flowers, a lot of things that have flowers. The flowers come at different times of the year, as I say, and a lot of it is scented. And the scented ones are these ones here that flower now, and they're scented now, and they smell absolutely incredible. And I've tried to move them so that they're as far away from each other as well. So this one and the other one, which is down there, are probably 3, 4, 5 meters apart. That way the scent carries, and we get lots of nice scented plants. There's different types of red robin, so they have either a darker red or a lighter or a pink. There's different types of bottle brush that have either pink or red flowers. A lot of things have white flowers, peach, pinky colours, reds. Some of them have berries. As I said, some of them have more of a leaf, different leaf. Some of them have a prickly leaf and things like that. Anyway, so this is the hedge that I'm planting now. I think it's 14-15 meters long, and it'll grow into a hedge and it'll look lovely. I'm gonna I'll have to spread them out a little bit more. There's a few trees going in, as I said, and so I will be spreading certain things out a bit more to make room, and it'll be lovely. I'll bring you back and I'll show you the finished product when I've planted everything up. Cheers. When I'm digging the holes to put the plants in, if the pot size is this size, I'm using a post hole digger, because the post hole digger is roughly the same size as the pot, as in depth wise, slightly deeper, but you can dig a nice round hole to put the pot plant in straight in the ground. So I've dug it with this post hole digger. When the holes are bigger, like for that one there, I use a spade and a fork and dig down and get all the roots out and all that sort of thing that are in the ground. I put some fish blood and bone in, so I've got some fish blood and bone here, got some fish blood and bone here, and you just put a sprinkling in the bottom there like that. It goes around the edge, and this encourages the root growth of the plant. And this plant is a Pyrrheus. I've gone a bit too low, hang on, so I've just filled it in a little bit, and I've put the plant in like that. I'm going to bring it back away from the wall a little. There we go. But it'll grow and it'll fill that gap. Now on either side there's a solid green leaf plant, which is more of a tree, and then there's this beautiful pink flowering tiny leaf plant. But it's good to clash plants against each other, so it makes them stand out against each other. So got a variegated, it will produce a red, I can't remember which one this one is. This one's a Little Heath Pyrrheus, has a red flower, a red leaf rather. It has little tiny flowers as well, but it'll grow into a nice shrub. It'll fill the hole, and eventually it'll grow as tall as the rest of the hedge really, and then I'll just trim it back. Like I say, I do use shrubs now in my hedges, and this is one of them, so I'm just showing you. I'm going to be putting different variegated colours in, lighter colours, darker colours, and they all clash to mix in to make a great hedge. There is a stump and there's a lump of concrete which I can't get out, so when I plant the plant will grow over the clump, over the concrete, or over the tree stump as well. So I'd show you that, planting the actual plants. I just want to show you, in planting the plants, you want to make sure your hole's deep enough, especially with new plants. These ones got lots of roots on them. They've been in the pot for quite a while. This is Escalonia. This one has either a peach colour flower or a pink colour flower or an apple colour blossom. Anyway, what I'm trying to explain is that when you put your plant in the hole, make sure that the hole is deep enough so that when you fill it in, see it's perfect size round width wise, and it fits in the hole, as you can see, and the roots and everything go right in, and it's about an inch lower than the top of the plant, which is good, so that when we fill the sides in, this plant isn't sitting proud, it's not above the height of the soil level, because you don't want that, because it doesn't do the plant any good. If you plant it right in the first place, you won't have to come back and you won't have problems with it later on. Now I've put this escallonia in because it's got a dark leaf, so it's different to that tree which has a silvery leaf, and it's different to the Pyrrhus which has a silvery and red leaf, and it's a different shape, and it's different to all of these. And as well as that, it'll spread out well, it'll cover that stump and it'll cover that horrible bit of concrete, so you won't see it. So will the Pyrrhus, but you won't see those things because the plant will cover it over. And you think I'm a bit lazy and not digging it out. Well, maybe I am, but the stump won't come out. I don't want to root rot it because it'll put poison into the ground and plants won't grow. And I've not taken the concrete out just because it'll leave an enormous hole. That piece of concrete is actually huge underneath, and so I don't want to take it out. I just can't be bothered either. So we're going to cover it with other plants. So there we go. So this is what we got so far. I'm going to put this one in here, which has a pink flower. I'm going to use the post hole digger to dig it out, put some fish blood and bone in, pop it in, and then again it'll stand out against the other plants. Right, so I've had to replace some dead plants, and I've had to take out some plants that aren't evergreen. This one is evergreen, but it's going to have to come back. It's got some leaves left on it. This one isn't evergreen. I've put them to the back, most of the ones that aren't evergreen, and then I've replaced some as well. So this is the last year's one, so this was August, September last year, and this is the new hedge done. So the tree stumps are out. There are some that you can still just about see them, and so the new plants will cover them over. This is the new mixture of hedging that I've put in, and it goes up 15 metres, and there's 59 shrubs. So the lady had some shrubs already that were in pots that I had to put in. So this one, this beautiful pink flower, and these ones that are like almost like an olive tree. So I've put them in, and then I've put the other plants around them as well. So we've got different ones. There's red robin, there's strawberry trees, there's plants that flower, there's plants with a different foliage, and they're all different again. So the hedge will flower intermediately through the whole of the year, different times with different flowers. There's different textures, there's different leaf shapes, there's all sorts of things in this, all the way up to the top there, and the whole length of it. So that's this garden done. I'm going to come back in a week or so's time just to sort of scrape the edge along and to rake it up, and then I'll be able to sharpen the edge up and returf, so we'll bring the lawn in a little bit more to take up this sort of 2-foot space. The same on the other end, on the other hedge, and it'll just finish the job off, and I'll be able to returf. I'm going to do it all in one go. But the hedge itself is done. There's all sorts of things, Pyrrhus and all sorts of trees and shrubs and bushes in that will make up this new hedge. Like I say, 15 metres of hedging, and the last one was 5 metres as well. So there we go. So we've got 20 metres of new hedging in. Thank you very much. Well, cheers.